This is Marketing Jam, a podcast featuring the brightest minds in Canadian marketing.
So my name's Tamir, and I lead Amazon's advertising business here in Canada.
Okay.
So our job is basically to connect brands with Amazon shoppers in ways that add value to a customer's shopping and entertainment experience.
Okay.
And we do that, on Amazon.ca, on IMDb, on Twitch, on our mobile app, and across the web and third-party apps as well.
Okay, very cool.
Yeah.
And so, jumping right in, I need to know, what are the top 5 apps that you use on your phone?
Sure.
Yeah.
I have to say the Amazon mobile app, so
Okay.
that'll be one. So
Okay.
I would say Twitter.
Yep.
Waze definitely helps my commute.
Okay.
Uber when I don't want to drive, and then I'll give you one random one that you
Yeah.
probably maybe don't use. That's team stuff.
Okay.
And so this is what we use to manage my hockey team, basically.
Okay,
So
yeah.
making sure we have enough guys to actually show up, and
Yes,
everybody
yes.
knows who's on beer duty and stuff like
Yeah,
that. So
yeah.
it's a good one to try.
Okay. And why did you go Waze versus Google Maps?
I think ultimately the back end is probably very similar, but I just find the experience to be more seamless.
Okay.
I don't want to be looking at my phone when I'm driving, and
Yeah.
maybe the voice directions and just a quick glance at a screen I find just to be super clear and convenient.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the Amazon app.
Yeah.
Tell me about what do you use it for, and tell me some of the cool features that maybe some people may not know about on the Amazon app.
Yeah, I think one of the things that people may not be as familiar with is if you're looking for a product, whether you're in a store and you want to read reviews, or
Yeah.
whether you just come across something at a friend's house and
Yeah.
you want to know how you get it.
Yeah.
There's actually a little camera icon on the Amazon mobile app, and from there, you can actually pull up your phone. It'll scan that product and pull that product page up on Amazon. So great way to save you time and figure out how you get that product, showing up at your house.
Okay. And tell me about, you're Canadian.
Sure,
You live in
yes.
Canada. You're from this area.
Yes.
Headquarters is in Seattle, though, for
Yes,
Amazon.
it is.
How do you deal with when you scan something and it's only available in the American store, or it's not available?
Yeah.
Like, is it something that you guys are just trying to get more availability in Canada, or is it just a constant thing that you guys are dealing with all the time?
Yeah, I'd say the experience has come so far in
Yeah.
the last few years. And
Yeah.
when I left Canada in 2007, Amazon essentially sold books and DVDs
Yeah.
here in Canada. And then I came back. I was kind of surprised at how far things had developed.
Yeah.
Today we sell everything from toys to musical instruments to diapers to
Salsa. I got salsa.
Oh, there you go,
Yeah,
salsa.
yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
And so it's a huge area of focus for us. One of
Yeah.
the core pillars of our business is selection. We want
Okay.
the customers to be able to come to Amazon and find anything they're looking for. So
Yeah.
that definitely drives and motivates us every day.
Okay. Yeah, for example, I have a retail client,
Okay.
10,000 Villages. Their US store had all their products on Amazon.
Yeah.
And now they're just starting to do it in Canada because they're realizing they had such a major request of people preferring Amazon versus their own proprietary
interesting.
e-commerce platform.
Yeah, it's a trusted experience to shop. Customers, have their login information already there.
Yeah.
They don't have to enter in payment information. There's reviews. We find that customers really enjoy that shopping experience, which is our goal.
Yeah. So dissect me. Like I'm what you just described, because I prefer to shop. Like I always double check to be like, is that same product? I've seen their e-commerce thing and I get an ad to their e-commerce platform.
Yeah.
But I always check if it's on Amazon first because I'm a Prime member.
Thank you.
And my information's already there. So, but is there much more to it than that? Is it just because I just like it? I love that there's a trusted factor. I love that I can
Sure.
return it. There's that whole.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think if you were to sum up our approach,
Yeah.
it's that our goal is to be the most customer-focused, customer-obsessed business in the world.
Okay.
We start with the customer and work backwards in everything that we do, and it's that focus to delight customers and invent on their behalf that drives and moves us forward every day. And so, it makes me feel good to hear that you're a customer and that, you definitely value that shopping experience, from reviews to everything else. And so I think that's what we're focused on. And when we think about creating great experiences for customers on the retail side of the business, it's often anchored in a couple of key tenets. It's around great prices, simpler, more convenient shopping experiences, and then selection, adding as many products to the store as possible.
Okay. Now, do you guys do this on purpose? Sometimes you'll say it'll take like 4 days to ship and then it arrives like the next day. Is that an intentional thing, or is that just by chance sometimes it happens? Is that part of the delight factor?
Well, I think our goal is obviously to get that product in the customer's hands as soon as possible. And so we want to make sure that we're setting the right expectations with customers.
Yeah.
But the goal is to get it there as fast as we can.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm in Langley, British Columbia, which is a
beautiful
suburb outside of Vancouver.
Yeah.
And I ordered a car seat because our car seat had expired, and we realized we needed this right away.
Yeah.
And Toys R Us or Babies R Us was already closed.
Okay.
So I ordered it, and I was thinking, all right, Rose, it'll be here in a few days. It says, and then the next day it arrived, like the next day.
That's great.
Yeah, with a guy who had a little clipboard. He drove to our place, and and sometimes I've ordered stuff and it comes that night. The same day stuff, right? So I think it's becoming more and more a thing.
Yeah, we now offer free same day delivery for Prime members in Toronto and Vancouver. Free next day in Ottawa, Montreal, Calgary, Edmonton. So there's a fulfillment center in Delta, probably not too far from you, and it's awesome to hear that you're having a good experience and getting the products.
And the driver loved it. He showed me the app that he had. He's like, oh yeah, this is my route tonight, and it kind of mapped it all out for him. And
very cool.
Yeah. So 2018.
Yeah.
We're walking into it. We're already in March, but what do you see the rest of the year when it comes to marketing trends?
Yeah.
And from your seat where you stand?
One of the things that's happening, which I think is really interesting and getting the attention of a lot of marketers, is that e-commerce is really approaching that inflection point here in Canada. So 66% of all retail growth in this country is going to be driven by e-commerce over the next few years. So to put that into context, just the incremental growth, just the growth in each of the next few years, is more than Canadians spend in a year at Tim Hortons. It's more than we spend on beer. And so that has some pretty significant implications for businesses and for marketers. And so we're seeing e-commerce marketing essentially emerge as a distinct discipline, alongside search and social, for example. And we're seeing an entire industry emerge to help these brands make that transition. And at Amazon, we're also eager to help. And we found that there are a few approaches that have worked really well for us and have worked really well for the brands we work with to help them take a more customer-focused and customer-first approach to doing business.
Okay. And when Amazon looks at that, what are some of the things that you guys are doing or that are coming down the pipe that you're allowed to share? I know there's some stuff behind the curtain that we got to be careful about. But what are you allowed to share today for our listeners?
Sure. One thing that I think is really kind of neat, we just recently launched something on our US mobile app experience called AR View. Essentially, it's an augmented reality experience. What we find is that there are certain products, maybe home products or kitchen products, that customers have a harder time buying online because they want to be able to see and handle it and figure out how it fits. Or a pillow or a juicer. Is it going to fit on my countertop? And so this tool essentially lets that customer place this product virtually in their home. They can move it around and see really, does this fit? Is it for me? So we're excited about that. It goes back to our core focus of reducing friction and making things easier for customers.
Okay. Very cool. Are you guys ever going to get into the Blue Apron or fresh prep world as well, like doing the packaged meals, or is that on your scope at all?
I don't know.
You don't know? Okay.
I can't comment on that.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay. I'm a big fan of. I have this meal delivery that comes a few times a week, and it's amazing. But right now, I have multiple platforms I need to manage, but it'd be amazing if there was just one.
Sure.
Right? So one day, maybe there'll be the one website to rule them all, right? Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, we love to get feedback from customers, and that's what drives us and helps us figure out where we want to focus next. And so that's helpful to hear about your experiences for sure.
So when we look at kind of the person in your shoes, and someone is listening to this, and how did someone get to where you are today? What kind of advice would you give this young person or maybe person that's like, I want to be you one day? What would you say?
I just met a couple of folks who, a couple years out of school, and I love just the entrepreneurial drive that so many of them have, and they see these opportunities to do some amazing things and to serve customers in new ways and take advantage of the technology. I'd say one of the pieces of advice that I'd give folks is really to think and act like an owner every day. It doesn't matter what your role is, but act as though you're an owner of the business. And what that really means is you have to be comfortable sacrificing short-term gains for the long-term health of the business. And you have to be comfortable doing things that are right for the company that may not be right for you and your individual goals. And I think folks that do that, folks who have the attitude that nothing is above them, or that they don't say this isn't my job. I think those are the folks that ultimately have the right attitude to really thrive and succeed. And it's very difficult to coach that. And so I think that's certainly something that we look for and is important for us as a core value of us at Amazon.
Okay. And if you were to speak to business owners that to teach them how to embrace where Amazon is going and where e-commerce is going, what are some tips and advice you'd give them to make sure that hey, don't be fearful of this. Here's how you can embrace the change.
Absolutely. I would say the first and most important thing is that customer obsession piece.
Okay.
And really deeply understanding the core needs of your customer and working backwards from there to come up with solutions that are going to address their needs, inventing on behalf of those customers. And so I think it's about, if you're a big kind of established brand, I think it's about putting yourself in the shoes of that challenger brand, you know, hitting a reset button and you know, going through that thought exercise as if you were operating with a blank canvas. And don't let your constraints kind of hold you back, and really think about what are the core needs that you can address to help your customers move forward. And what we found is that e-commerce marketing is a really effective vehicle accomplishing that. It helps businesses lead with the right types of insights. It helps them pick the right moments and get the right message to the right customer at the right time. It helps them create really compelling and rich brand experiences, and ultimately it makes buying their products more convenient and easy for customers. And so all of those things are really important.
It's wild every Christmas and Black Friday, of course, in Canada, to get to see the stats afterwards in the Globe and Mail and other publications publishing the increase of, you know, money spent on Amazon and purchases online versus retail shops that are actually less and less money is being spent. So you guys are a major contributor to where people are going and spending their time.
Well, you know, I think we're certainly growing as e-commerce continues to grow, but you know, brick and mortar is still growing in Canada as well. And so I think it's all about giving customers more choice, which ultimately will produce better experiences for them. And so we're excited that, you know, 20 million Canadians are going to shop online this year, 80% of the internet population. And so it's exciting to feel as though, you know, that experience that I craved when I was living in the US that I wanted for Canada, it's actually here. It's pretty amazing.
As a Prime member, I just discovered I also have access to Prime TV. Is that what it's called? Prime Video?
Prime Video.
Prime Video. And Mr. Bean is on there.
Oh,
so
that's big.
My 11-year-old son loves it. So I didn't realize that. So, and now I have Prime Video on my Apple TV, and I can watch all these. It's a nice benefit of being a Prime member. Let alone the great shipping rates and often free shipping. So,
no, it's a great part of the Prime membership. I'd encourage you to watch Sneaky Pete, not for your son, not for your 11-year-old son, but for you. It's a really good show. It stars Giovanni Ribisi, and it's a really good show. Season 2, I think, is going to start pretty soon. And then just this past holiday, we actually launched Prime Music as well. Prime members in Canada now get access to ad-free streaming of over 1 million songs as part of your membership. So
is it an app I download?
So check that out.
Prime Music.
Yes.
That's great to know. So one of the things I find fascinating, you guys open up a shop, bricks and mortar, an Amazon store where they sense when things are picked up, and it was amazing to see. It was designed to have no lineup shopping, but there was a massive lineup of everyone who wanted to experience it. So, any talks of it coming to Canada?
I mean, I can't speak to any future plans with it, but it's a pretty amazing shopping experience. The store is called Amazon Go, and we just opened the first store in Seattle to the general public, and basically the idea of it is. It's a store with no lines, no checkout, and you just walk out. And so, you know, here downtown in Toronto, it might take you 20 minutes door to door to grab lunch. At this store, whether you want to buy lunch or a meal kit, you walk in, grab it, and walk out in a couple minutes. That's it. And so for me, the part of that experience that feels so amazing is not the technology behind it. It's the fact that when you're in the store, you don't feel any of that. It feels like a normal store. And the only way that something hits you that this isn't normal is when you walk out, you get this brief moment of panic that you forgot to pay. And it takes, you know, visiting the store a few times to realize that that's just okay, it's part of the experience. But I think customers will get over that once they realize how much time they get back in their day, just waiting in line, you know, buying lunch or a snack or something like that.
So being a father of 3 young children, so I have a 2-year-old, 4-year-old, and 11-year-old, I don't often get out to the mall to go shopping, so I think, which is fine, and maybe if I had no kids, I would, and occasionally I did recently because I had to go to the Apple store, and I went to a few shops, but I find sometimes going on the Amazon app or online is like going to a mall. I can look around and they suggest things for me, and I can kind of check out what's trending, what new products are. I got a new down jacket on there recently, and it was
ready for spring if it ever comes.
Exactly. So I just found it like a mall experience. So of all websites, I can see VR actually being the most kind of fitting for that. So
I mean, our job is to create great shopping experiences for customers, regardless of where they shop. And that's what we're focused on.
I don't know if you guys saw this, there was a campaign where it was, you get an Amazon purchase, and then you could return something used or something like a used shirt or a donation in the box, and then it would go to people who need jackets or blankets and things like that.
I actually hadn't seen that.
Yeah. It was an amazing campaign. I think it was a few years ago you guys did that.
Okay.
So, yeah, it was very cool.
Very cool.
So, recommended books or magazines that you consume?
Yeah. One book that I really love, a marketing book that I would recommend for folks, is it's called Made to Stick.
Okay.
And essentially, it looks at the psychology behind things like memory and applies that to a business context to help you understand, why is it that some stories, some commercials really resonate and will stick with people, and they can remember details about it 20 years later. Yeah. And some things just go in one ear and are out the next.
Like Sapporo Ichiban, that commercial was,
Yeah, and so what, we can look at that and say that's a great ad, but why? And so I really enjoyed that because it applied the science to marketing.
Okay, very cool.
So it's a great read with some really helpful examples. I'd look at that,
That's great. Available on Amazon?
Yes, for sure.
And Audible?
Yeah, it is,
great.
yes.
That's awesome.
Absolutely.
Any magazines, other reading material that you?
Not necessarily a magazine, but one thing that I would definitely recommend for folks in the marketing space. It's a blog / podcast that's called Strategery, and I just find it to be phenomenal. So the content is updated weekly, and it's essentially really a combination of sort of business and technology focus. And so this week they featured sort of a deep dive into Spotify and their business, and so they look at basically the underlying business model within these different business units that they look at. They compare it sort of against historical context. So, what was similar 30 years ago? The world is completely different, but what was similar and what happened? And then sort of what is the social impact of that? How does that impact our lives day to day? I just find it so thoughtful and thought-provoking. So it's definitely one that I would recommend, either the blog or the podcast or both.
Okay. And any other podcasts that you listen to? Or
I think that's the key one for me. Okay. So like you, I've got a 3-month-old and a 4-year-old.
Yeah.
And so it's a lot of sort of Dr. Seuss, Paw Patrol. So there's a different type of insight you get from that, and I think that I've got a lot of that in my head right now.
Yes. Paw Patrol. Oh man, them alone. That brand is fascinating. Being the amount of toys and new vehicles that they get every season, right? And new characters.
Nice Canadian success story for sure.
Yeah. Is there anything that you guys would never sell in it? Like, it seems like anything these days you can buy on Amazon, right? Is that kind of sky's the limit right now? Or have you guys ever thought, okay, no one's going to buy that online?
I think we want to create safe shopping experiences for our customers, and so you definitely can't sell everything on Amazon. There are products that may be dangerous. We certainly don't sell. There are certain types of weapons that we would never sell on Amazon or drugs, for example. And so, it's about protecting the customer experience ultimately.
So as a consumer, any advice on this? Like Sage is a good example. They're a Vancouver company that sells essential oils.
Okay.
And I like them, right? I trust them. I want to support local. But I don't want to go to a store. I don't have the time. And I want to buy it on Amazon. But it's some other essential oils. But I don't want to get that. There's that essential oil. So I'm like, I feel compelled to that. How do I, what's the call I can give to someone like Sage to go on to Amazon? Any advice what to tell them? Do I just tweak them, tweet them, bug them?
I mean, I think as a customer, they're probably eager to get feedback from consumers. And I think you should share your own personal experiences and let them know that you want to be able to buy their products across a number of different retail channels. So I think just sharing that feedback is helpful, and we're adding new brands and new products to the store every day.
Okay. And warehouses right across the world now, I imagine, right, or in the country.
Yeah, I mean, we have fulfillment centers, in Toronto, in the Vancouver area, and we're launching one in Calgary as well.
Wow, okay.
So we're excited about investing in Canada, and we have over 8,000 employees now in this country.
Wow, 8,000 employees.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything you want to leave people with? Retailers in Canada, any kind of last messages to encourage them?
I think the one thing I would just say is, I think Canada is a really awesome place to lean in and test, and I think that we have such the talent of the people in this country is phenomenal. Our consumer base shares a lot of characteristics with Americans, but with also customers all over the world. And so what works here can scale and have an impact outside of our own borders. And so I think that, as marketers and as businesses, I think we need to lean in to technological change. We need to lean into e-commerce and marketing. And I think we have an opportunity to play a really big leading role in that and in creating these customer-focused experiences. So I'm excited to see how that develops over the next few years.
That's awesome. And the last purchase you made on Amazon, do you remember what it was?
Ooh, the last purchase I made on Amazon, I bought a new hockey bag.
Okay.
And so my hockey bag smelled really bad, and
Yeah.
my wife's like, you can't keep that around the house anymore. So I bought a new bag.
Awesome.
So that was the last thing I bought.
Very cool, very cool. Well, thank you for joining us on
Thank
the
you so
Marketing
much.
Jam
Yeah.
show.
Appreciate it.
This is us, Marketing Jam here at DX3. Some of the brightest and sharpest minds in retail and marketing here in Toronto. And we're happy to bring you some of their insights and behind the scenes footage of some of their thoughts, some of the apps they use, some of the insights of what they're seeing for this next year, and some great advice for retailers and people to keep customers the main thing. So thanks again.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Take care.